Throughout time, people across the world told each other tales of how they came to be, of heroes and monsters, romance and tragedy, death and rebirth. Mythology helped shape the ancient world, explaining the unexplainable. This is Mythology Unleashed. Trickster figures come in all shapes and sizes, lurking in the hidden places of the world and toying with the unwary and unsuspecting that they happen to come across. Though some of these figures of myth can be beautiful to look at, or otherwise fairly unsuspecting, there are some whose true form can seem alien, and their mystical manner only adds to their otherworldly aspect. Such is the case for a forest monster from Philippine mythology called the Tikbalang. The most common depictions of the Tikbalang portray it as being incredibly tall and lanky, humanoid in shape, reaching heights of 7 to 9 feet tall, with limbs disproportionate in length to its own torso. When it squats down, its knees tower above its own head. Its head is said to be that of a horse, or at least horse-like in shape, whereas its feet are said to be massive hooves, and its eyes burn like fire. Other stories say that the Tikbalang resembles a human man, but is still incredibly tall with long limbs. Regardless of its true form, the Tikbalang is said to be a cunning shapeshifter, appearing as a shabby vagabond, a familiar face, or an incredibly beautiful stranger. Other alleged abilities possessed by the Tikbalang include invisibility or vanishing altogether, illusion casting, and physical prowess akin to a team of horses. Stories of the Tikbalang have been told for thousands of years, originally as nature spirits, guardians of the wild, with their famous horse-like appearance coming later on in folklore. As horses were not native to the Philippines prior to the arrival of the Spanish, the horse-like visage of the Tikbalang more than likely was influenced by the spread of Hinduism, which features a man-horse being called Hayagriva, an avatar of the god Vishnu. The Tikbalang is said to reside in rural areas of the Philippines, such as dense forests, mountain trails, and even isolated farming communities, with some legends claiming them to be guardians of the forest and elemental domains. It should be noted that, unlike other mystical horse beings and creatures of myth, such as the Kelpie from Scottish mythology, or the centaurs of Greek tradition, the Tikbalang is rarely said to be violent or an intentional killer of humans, but it is prone to cruel pranks that may lead to illness or insanity, or even death. They are notably fond of leading travelers astray or luring the unwary away from human dwellings and into the wild. They may take the form of a guide who leads a party through winding circles and then vanishes, leaving the party to wander aimlessly, sometimes even to the point of starvation. Or they may take the form of a handsome horse and goad passers-by into mounting them, before taking them on a hair-raising ride through the brush, and then leaving them in the middle of nowhere. The Tikbalang may also resort to simply scaring the daylight out of those that it may run into. And with its frightening visage and surprising creativity, there is little chance of failure. Being a male-exclusive species, the Tikbalang was also said to engage in harassment, abduction, and even assault of lone women. Telltale signs that a person had an encounter with a Tikbalang include distinct changes in attitude, a lack of appetite, and a sickness called Tikbalang, believed to be caused by the person's desire to return to the places the Tikbalang had taken them. Though the Tikbalang is a powerful trickster with distinguished supernatural abilities, there are methods in which one may defend themselves against being tricked or harassed by them. First and foremost, if one were to wear their shirt inside out, it would deter the Tikbalang from ever coming near them. Secondly, if one were to verbally seek permission from the Tikbalang around where an alleged lair may be, they may pass unmolested. And lastly, should a person simply walk quietly through the rainforest without making too much noise or disrespecting the flora or fauna around them, they need not fear disturbing or becoming the target of a Tikbalang. Additionally, according to local folklore, a person may gain a Tikbalang's loyalty by attaining at least one of 3 golden hairs found within its mane. However, in order to accomplish this, that person must wrestle with the Tikbalang, leaping upon its back and bridling it with a specially prepared rope, effectively binding the Tikbalang to their will. Though it sounds simple enough, the Tikbalang's supernatural strength and endurance will make it tougher than any wild stallion, and it would buck wildly in order to dislodge its would-be handler. But it is also said that on rare occasions, the Tikbalang may willingly give one or more of these golden hairs to someone that they deem trustworthy. If one were to wrap the strand around their middle finger, they may achieve supernatural powers equated with the Tikbalang, including great strength, speed, and invulnerable skin. Alternatively, some say that to wrap the hair around a finger would place the Tikbalang under someone's command for a lifetime, acting as a mount faster than any riding animal or man-made vehicle. Philippine mythology is rife with bizarre and monstrous-looking creatures, and the Tikbalang is no exception. But unlike many other monsters of Philippine lore, it is not out to actively harm, kill, or devour people that it happens upon. Instead, it plays mad pranks and mind games on unsuspecting people in the rural areas of the Philippines. From luring folks deep into the woods, to abandoning them on desolate trails and leaving them to starve or to go mad, or to good old-fashioned jump scares in the dark. In recent years, the Tikbalang has been featured in various media, from movies to television to comic books, in both heroic and villainous roles. The Tikbalang is among the most strange and fascinating monsters and tricksters of mythology. Yet it is becoming arguably one of the most popular.